Thank you so much for all your wonderful comments. I'm so grateful to receive them, and I try to reply to what I can. And sometimes I think they require a little bit more elaboration, or at least they require being pulled out and talked about. So I'm going to talk about two of them now. The first one, Mike Post says, can you explain for new viewers why there are two pronunciations of Suella's name? Well, part of it is my inability to work out which pronunciation is right. I can't remember whether it's braverman or braverman, but it may well be braverman. And so maybe she should have three names. Maybe I should start giving her a triple-barreled nomenclature. But the other comment which has really struck me this evening is from David Singh, who says, I am afraid, Tim, you are cracked. And he may be right. He may be absolutely right. You keep going on about Suella. He says Sulla. Sulla, of course, is this wonderful Roman sort of proto-emperor, the dictator on whom I suppose Julius Caesar eventually modelled himself, the successor to Marius. And Sulla was completely contemptuous of anybody who got in his way. Anyway, Sulla, oddly, was one of the few people in sort of the Roman power who retired and died in his own bed. So there is a way for dictatorship. I'm sure the bust of Sulla decorates Mr. Putin's palace somewhere. Anyway, a sinking ship that's already sinking with a minute chance of it surviving. You want that possibility destroyed? No, I really don't. You are not at all showing patriotism. They all make regular mistakes. What's new or so big? They all are corrupt. No, not hide, but to support them wherever they can. After all, they're a team. You're nuts, mate. No one else has shown determination to attempt to fix the migration problem. She has. Lay off or take my bet. Well, I can't take your bet because I simply don't have the money. But I would reply, I shall reply, there's only one migration solution, and that is not the Rwanda option. It's not further conversations with France, so that will help, and the better our relationship with France, the better we can help to demonstrate that crossing the Channel is a bad idea. It really is a bad idea. And of course, once we left the European Union, that France option, sending people back to France, is no longer an automatic solution. We can't do that. And it's not really in France's interest to police their own border and stop people that they don't want leaving. And I've said there's only one solution to the migration problem, and that's to process the paperwork, the backlog of applications for asylum. And once that is done, we will know who is legal and who is not illegal. We will have demonstrable statistics. And with that, armed with that, we can then perhaps renegotiate internationally the 1951 refugee agreement, which I think many people across many countries across Europe would probably conclude is not fit for purpose today. It doesn't deal with today's world. That is a grown-up solution. The Rwanda option is just rhetoric, and it's deflecting, it's drawing away from the real issue. The real issue is that we have so many people now who are waiting for their paperwork to be processed. They're costing a huge amount of money, £7 million a day in hotel fees. This is absurd, utterly, utterly absurd, when the answer is lying in front of us. Rees-Mogg said that there are too many civil servants and that they should be made redundant. Well, I don't think so. Those civil servants should be retrained and put into the Home Office to break the back of this bureaucracy, to comb through these multiple applications and to reduce this backlog. until we do that. It's not that the backlog is all in the hands of the lawyers. It's not. It's not. It simply hasn't been processed. So many, it takes over 400 days once an application has been put into the courts. That's once it's got to that point. But getting it to that point, many people have still not got to that point. And once it's in the court system, there are applications that go back to 2007. If we can't break that backlog, we cannot reduce the amount of money that we are frittering away on hotel bills for people who may or may not, as you rightly suggest, be illegal migrants. But we cannot know it, because under the 1951 agreement, anybody who applies for asylum in this country, however they have arrived in this country, is allowed to go through that paperwork and must be treated with honour. We cannot ship them off to a third country to do our dirty work because we cannot be bothered to honour the convention that we signed and, in part, we engineered. We were behind that convention. We have to take responsibility for this, and we have to act in a grown-up way.